What is up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. If you are coming back, welcome back. We are working on the race truck today. We've had nothing but problems. I got the heater running because it is freaking cold outside. So we're getting back into this S550 rear end into our Ford race truck, and it has been a long time coming. The last few weekends I've been down for the count. I've been gone all week for work, a couple weeks now. And we also got some other stuff in the shop, like this 59 Chevy. We got a new pickup bought, and the air compressor broke, the heater broke, but that's fixed now. And then it gelled up, which is now fixed once again. So now it's warming up in here, and then we're gonna finish this up finally. To get into where we left off, there is so much video that I have that is just gonna get thrown. For the fronts, we have these buckets that we went ahead and made. We ground down our welds and they sit right into the pocket of the frame where we notched it out. My goal is to have this whole entire rear end bolt in versus weld in. All the other people that you will see doing this swap weld theirs in. I'm working on bolting it in. So on the back, we went ahead and cut the frame out after we started plating it in piece by piece. I had to go and put the structure back in it before I could cut most of it out. Once I got the bottom plate cut, I went ahead and set it on the bushing and tacked it in, and then made sure I liked where it was for centering for the bolt, and then I welded it in. All right, so we're moving on to the back side now, and I went ahead and drilled my holes. I went and got a step bit to make it a lot easier, just to drill through it and make it nice. We're gonna go ahead and stick our bolts through with our spacer and then our nut, and then we'll go ahead and start welding it all in. Okay, so before I close this in, I want to show you guys what's going on. I also cut the tops of the front mounts off, so now we can go ahead and plate the front side of that in, and you will never know what's on the inside of that other than a nut. I am going to go ahead and spray a little bit of primer or something in it, and then I'll clean the edges up again so I can weld on it, just so there's something on the inside on the metal. So these backs are just plates welded in. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our top cap and we'll start welding it up in the top here, and we'll just start forming it as we go, and we'll come along with the grinder and clean it up as we need to. Our goal is to keep a little bit of a lip here so our weld can fill in and then we can grind it smooth. This one is the driver's side rear mount, and we're gonna go ahead and do the same. We'll start up in the corner and we'll just start forming as we go, and we'll use our grinder to cut the seams so we have just a little bit of a gap for our weld to fill in. All right, so I had to borrow the extension cord, so I gotta talk over the heater for a minute. But we got everything bolted in and mostly boxed in. I am gonna call it quits for now, but you can see where I'm going with this, and if you choose to, you can replicate it all. Picking up where we left off in the back, I went ahead and capped off this other side, and then I moved on to the front. Now, I was going to do this outside plate in one big piece, but by the time I got it shortened down to the frame height, it was all square. So I just went ahead and knocked the edge off a little bit and welded everything in. I started with a top hat, just like this other side. And we are going to go ahead and clean all of this up and make it all smooth. I need to cut that lip off so we can have a nice corner to weld in. But this is what it started like. I know it's kind of hard to see over here. I need to get a couple more lights. Once I get this piece in and this piece in, I can go ahead and pick the frame up. And I see I'll have to clearance it just a little bit more to make it match this side. I want to make sure that there's enough room for everything to move since it's on rubber bushings. To the measurements, if I pull a tape measure off this, go all the way up to the front into the coil bucket, this center bolt, it is 113 5/8, both sides. Now, I'm giving you that measurement so you don't have to fight it as bad as I had to fight it. I was trying to center this thing within a 30-second, and finally Jack was like, dude, enough. You're not even gonna notice it within a 16th. So that is where everything landed. Side to side, I took my measurement from here to where I cut it in here. And if I remember right, it was 8 3/8 or 6 3/8 or something along those lines on both sides. So it's centered this way, and everything should be square going front to back. Now, the factory coils will not fit into my frame no more. I didn't build it that way. This is going to a coilover suspension setup versus the coil and shock. So we will go ahead and ditch this, bolt in, and then we'll build tabs up onto our frame. But if you wanted to run the factory setup like this, exactly how it sits, you would just take your coil, set it in the blower bucket, and then build around it. I'm sitting here editing this video. I realized I kind of left it hanging at the end. I've been on such a break lately. I totally lost track of how to film and how to edit and all this other stuff. So thanks for bearing with me. We're going to go ahead and finish up all the little stuff at a later date. But that is pretty much the gist of a S550 Mustang or a 2015 a newer Mustang independent rear suspension in a Bullnose Ford. Now, most people do this in their 70s and older F100s and stuff like that. It's a little more of a friendly swap. Once I started filming the beginning process of everything it took, I was very overwhelmed at actually how much work was ahead of me to make this bolt in rather than weld in. So that is the lack of not having the other videos, but it just didn't make sense to try to wrap them into this one or to take this one and wrap it into that one. There will be a 100% walkthrough of the rolling chassis once I get it buttoned up and everything else, and we will walk our way through it from the front going in to the back going in to try to help you understand how to get this stuff into your Bullnose Ford. Thanks for watching. Make sure you come back for an update. Things are just starting to get rolling again. We got all kinds of shenanigans coming. We got G-body drifting videos. We got snow shenanigan videos. We got a whole change of plans on the G-body for LS Fest. We got LS Fest coming up. Hopefully things are done breaking so we can just continue to roll now. We're done changing plans because things are done breaking.